What's up, everybody? Crypto Picasso here. Quick little market review on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. This video is for educational purposes and not intended as investment advice. So with Bitcoin, we're getting the move. Well, in all cryptocurrency, we're getting the move that we have been looking for, and we'll just have to see how sustainable this move is now. I'm really hoping that this move plays out the way that I think it could, because then that would be this. If it plays out the way I think, then this is the continuation of the parabolic rise. It just had to do a very deep retrace, and the network is going to continue to grow. From here, we really, like I said, we really need to cross some levels though and watch out for some traps. So I'm ready to bail either way, but I'm really hoping this paints the picture that, because it's not just Bitcoin's chart that we're looking at here. Like, all of these charts look very bullish now. They have been, and we've been getting into these positions for these setups even before the drop, seeing the potential in some of these markets. But it's not just Bitcoin here. Like, a lot of the charts have painted their way up to the point where they look like extreme bullish continuation, like another mega wave like we saw before in the spring of last year. So if that's what's coming, then it's going to be the wave that pushes Bitcoin, up into the 30,000s and Ethereum to 3,000, for the next target, and make new all-time high for Litecoin and such. So if that is a lot of Ethereum's chart is already painting that way. Litecoin's chart looks extremely bullish. A lot of the even XRP, Ripple's chart looks really bullish. There's a lot of things that have painted themselves to the point now that if they sustain a certain level that they dump to, then and more money just keeps coming into cryptocurrency, then they're going to continue to new highs, and they're going to fulfill this next wave of interest that's coming on like the 3-day and the weekly chart, which could turn into such a huge grand wave of, where most of these coins might go up another 10 times in price in the this year. So that's what we're really ultimately trying to set ourselves up for, but we really want to watch our ass along the way. So let's just talk about Bitcoin here first. We cleared the head and shoulders. It was really manifesting nicely on the 4-hour, but then it seemed to really make more sense looking out on the 6-hour and the amount of time that developed until it broke. It almost even cup and handled here at the last minute. So we have a lot of bullish indication here that we are going to at least run through this, through the edge of the cloud here to the other side, which kind of coincides with a couple of factors here of confluence of this next downward resistance here. Okay. And also at that point, that would be in this time frame, that would be the 200 EMA. And when we look on the daily, that same price point right around here is about the 50 EMA. So there's a lot of interest at that price point and confluence at that price point to say that that's where we could run into resistance again, and even the daily cloud, come up to here and then fail. So we really have to watch out for that. Obviously, this is a nice bullish momentum wave back up, but we're not into, we shouldn't have our moon suits on just yet until we get back above the cloud at least. So we have to really watch out in this area. But there's enough bullish momentum behind us now that shows us that we should run up to these average lines again. The bullish momentum behind us is everything from getting back on top of these averages here. You can even see for you further confirmation here on Ichimoku, the cross here, the TK cross. So there's a lot going on that shows that we're breaking this head and shoulders pattern. We've got a nice momentum. We're back above the average, and we're going to push through this cloud and meet resistance most likely up in this area. Even the volume profile has changed here now on the breakout. So everything looks good for an advancement up to around this level or so. Where we go from there, like I said the other day in the other video, Bitcoin really has to make a move out of there like this, where it just comes out and then continues and gets the market behind it and gets everybody really bullish and excited again. Because if it fails there, then, and it starts to break down, here at the top of this cloud, or which would also be around the daily cloud, this zone. All right, this is a very watch it zone. We do have a little crack in the cloud here, okay, where the cloud is twisting right here. So it could want to break through around this time in this zone right here, according to Ichimoku strategy. But we really want to just recognize that the layers of resistance that we need to go through and the points that the market could turn bearish on us and just completely flip around and then go deeper. So we still have to get through this danger zone before we really want to feel confident that this is the way I look at it, is that when we look at the bigger picture, that 3-day momentum is telling us that a huge move could grow out of this. All right, the weekly momentum is also telling me that a huge move could grow out of this to new all-time highs and another huge mega wave of interest in cryptocurrency. Those higher time frame momentum indicators are telling me, according to my strategy of Elliott wave theory and understanding market cycles and understanding that we could be in a Fibonacci growth pattern of a technology, that all those higher time frames are painting possible continuation. So if we're going to get up here, these indicators show us that we have the strength to grow that far. But we have to clear certain levels. So for me to feel confident that those indicators on the weekly and the 3-day are showing us that we could grow to those potentials, first I want to see us get on top of the daily cloud and actually trade back on track and then start to make an advance towards, at least towards get up above 13,750, 13,9, and then start making that advance back up. Then it would be a little bit more confident that we have the potential to really, really go. And you'll see how it works too. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys that are have been in cryptocurrency for a while, it might have taken you a while to invest in cryptocurrency, but you guys, like I said, anybody who's listened to these videos or like follows me on Twitter, anybody who's been in this space for the last couple of years, and even now, we're so ahead of the curve and what's to come. So there's a big expansion that's going to happen in cryptocurrency, or that could possibly happen in cryptocurrency with a lot of more money that's coming in. And if we grow to those levels on the weekly and the 3-day, then these are going to be huge, huge expansive waves coming in. So we want to really watch ourselves on that daily level and make sure that we can at least get back on top of the daily cloud and then feel like we have the confidence that it's going to grow a little bit further from there. And I see the same story that's unfolding in all of these coins. I mean, they're all basically painting the same picture. And I really feel like I was saying in the beginning, there's more charts than just Bitcoin that's looking bullish here. Bitcoin looks like, okay, it looks kind of trappy in here, but if we get past there, the possibilities are huge. But it's not just Bitcoin's chart that we're looking at. This is the chart that everything else is probably going to follow unless there's a flippening of money. But this chart here looks semi-bullish except for this trap. But the rest of the charts look extremely bullish, that they could make new all-time highs, that it's not slowing down. We have to start looking at this whole space as a generalized, interest and niche of money that is going to do progress in technology, that's going to grow. So it's not just Bitcoin I'm looking at anymore here as far as how I'm reading how the money is going to flow here. What really should happen here is that this should break right through here and just continue and leave people in awe, and then the rest of those cryptocurrencies are going to grow too, because the networks are growing, the technologies and the development is not slowing down. This is like a virus. So we just have to make sure that we don't lose money along the way and get in the wrong spot or get out the wrong spot. So let me just look at a couple other charts here real quick and show you what I'm looking at in a couple other coins. First, let's look at ETC here. All right. ETC is doing that. Pull the harmonic off of here and then I'll show it to you again. ETC is doing that classic downward, 3 drives down, Elliott wave down, whatever you want to call it in your school of thought, but then that reversal move back up. So this reversal move back up, on a lot of other time frames, it's telling us it's most likely going to be a pretty big move, or it has the potential to be a pretty big move that comes out of here. Okay, this could easily reset the weekly here and go for a very nice all-time high, breaking into the 3 digits. Okay, the chart shows us that. But if Bitcoin doesn't continue and Bitcoin breaks down and Bitcoin gets into a trap, then what's the likelihood of ETC continuing, right? It's probably going to fail as well, because the money is going to leave cryptocurrency because the big king has started to fall again. So we have to watch where other coins would, or at least where we want to take profit and then watch ourselves, maybe possibly re-enter. So in 2 videos back, I was talking about how I wanted to catch ETC in this zone. Didn't quite come down to 20, but bought it right in that 22 area. And then riding it back up. And now I'm watching this trade here because before, like I mentioned in, I think it was the last video, that ETC was like painting the chart the most bullish, where ETC broke out above the 4-hour cloud first, a couple indicate on top of some averages first. It really started to show that momentum first, okay? And then LTC followed, and I said that LTC was just about through its 4-hour cloud. Now LTC has broken out past that. Now, since we saw ETC lead the momentum of that push, or of this push right now, like let's just say this push of this last week, ETC has led that push in the crypto sphere. So now I'm watching to see where ETC is possibly could break down here, because I'm going to take profit on this move from here to here. Anything above 50% profit, I'm locking it in, okay, with a stop loss, because you have to take profit off the table. Because even if this move is going to continue to new all-time high, I'd rather take 50 to 75% of the money off the table than watch what's going to do next, because this could come up here to maybe about 39 or so and complete basically a shark harmonic pattern like this. This is kind of basically like a shark, where it comes possibly to here or even up to here. I'm sorry, not that high. 1.272. So I'm watching that we don't break down in this area, because this is a typical like D point in a harmonic pattern where the price would go like this and come back down in this area. So I'm going to take the profit off the table on ETC anywhere, basically 50% at this point is the stop loss. But as we come up into this zone, I'm going to start to take profit off the table. And if it continues further, then I'll buy back on the retrace. But since this one was leading the way, I feel like its move is going to get expended first. And then we kind of have then we kind of watch, after that, okay? ETC got a little expended. Okay, Litecoin might start to get a little expended. Then Ethereum, and then Bitcoin after that, because it seems the flow of the money right now seems to have been ETC, LTC, and now Bitcoin and Ethereum both almost at the same time. We have other coins in there that are obviously moving as well, but with the big market cap alts, we're seeing that same kind of money flow and that same pattern. So I'm watching out up here at ETC for this harmonic sell-off point, which is a good point for people to take profit, which would also be a point of resistance. And that would also basically be like this zone right here. From before, these previous tops up in here and this previous support that broke down right here. So this is a good spot to take profit or for the market to meet resistance. So just kind of keep that in mind if you guys caught that same place that I did. And let's see what else. Let's look at LTC real quick. It's making a nice move. Let's check the 6 hour. Okay, we made it through the 6 hour cloud now. LTC is about to break the daily cloud, I think, too. Just about. So what looks like is going to get painted out of here, and you guys can see now, I'll kind of get this off of here, but I'm starting to try to apply that same Fibonacci logic of the grand cycle to LTC, but it hasn't matched up just yet. I'll pull that off of there. But looking for that bigger move in LTC, and it's really painted here that it could happen. I mean, look at this here on the 3-day as well. Just getting started. This entire move never really left this bullish momentum in this zone at all. It didn't sell down below this point right here. So this could be a whole new wave that, brings us into 2018 and starts to bring maybe 4-digit Litecoin. I definitely think that we're going to go to almost 3,000 with Ethereum, just like I had originally thought. Just that sell-off in between caught a lot of people off guard and sold down lower than anybody expected. But, you can't always see everything in the moment that it's happening in trading. A lot of the stuff that I see makes sense like 3 weeks after I see it, because I see it so, it's kind of weird. Like I kind of see it way ahead of time, and then I start to put the puzzle pieces together as time progresses and say, oh shit, that's what I saw was happening 3 weeks ago. Now it held this point of interest and we should continue. But if we don't, then we're going to, obviously break down. Like for instance, for Ethereum, obviously we would break down first at 1,000. If we can't handle the top of this cloud right around this area right here, 1,000, then watch out, And then the next level here would be 1225. But for me, like I said, if this follows the Fibonacci growth pattern of that money coming into cryptocurrency, like we've seen it unfold with Bitcoin, with the high volume of money coming in. The second market cap coin now is Ethereum, and it's almost like that money of human emotion and that large volume of influx of interest and money is coming in, is pushing this possibly to the same harmonic growth pattern. So if that really does happen, that's what I'm looking for. Here's this next wave to really just like, if Bitcoin comes up and leaves people in awe that it could make a new all-time high, Ethereum's going to do the same thing. And it's going to come up here all the way here, I think, to like 32, maybe even 3,500, and then sell back down to about here. This sell-off wave, I feel like, is going to be less of a correction than even this wave was. I think that this wave right here was, if this continues on and makes a new all-time high, then we're going to look back and we're going to say that this wave right here was that something that sold down deeper than everybody expected, but it was almost manipulated to do so the institutional money could enter at a point that was the lowest point possible at this time frame. Because if cryptocurrency really does what it's designed to do, and it really disrupts all of these mechanisms of trust in our society, then institutional money is going to recognize that, right? And they're going to try to get in. They're not going to want to buy the top. They don't want to buy it at 2,000, 3,000. They don't even want to buy it at 1,000. They're going to try to sell that shit down and use whatever force they can to push it down as low as they can to enter before the next wave of interest arrives. All right, so that's what I see. I mean, I'm a real big believer in cryptocurrency. Fundamentally, I guess you would say, like as far as like how disruptive it is and how it's going to change our society and our world. But I'm also a trader where I'll say, shit, I need to pull the plug on the trade at this point and get back to the dollar, even though the dollar is a crumbling piece of shit. But get back to a safe home base until you can make more of a percent gain on your trade. So we held through the worst of it, I feel, but we should take some profit off the table as we climb a little bit higher to secure some profits and hold the rest, because I really feel like if we move past these levels that we just laid out in a lot of these coins and we held through this, then we basically have entry where the institutional money just entered and for the next wave that's coming. All right, guys, keep stacking it. Cheers. What's up, everybody?